So good afternoon. Great day for the Sheriff's Association. We got a new president coming in, and for the first time ever, I believe, we have our great governor, Kathy Hochul, with us. So at this time, I'd like... So we've always said we want the governor to come sit at our table. Well, we got the governor sitting at our table. So it gives me great pleasure to introduce the 57th governor of the great state of New York, Governor Kathy Hochul.
Thank you. Good afternoon, and what a pleasure it is to see all of you here today. I've been to this conference in the past. I don't think I was officially a governor at the time, but I come because I know how critically important the work is that you do every single day. I've served in many positions in local office. I was a county official, worked very closely when I was a county clerk with my county sheriff, way back when it was Pat Gallivan, then Tim Howard, now John Garcia. So I have close affinity with my Erie County sheriffs. And also now, having lived in Albany for a little bit of time now, I've had a chance to see firsthand the incredible work that your president has been doing, Sheriff Craig Apple, and what he's doing with reforms in the jails and trying to really solve a lot of society's problems. And he's been a great partner as we continue to work together to drive down crime and violence, which, as you know, is my top priorities. Looking forward to a swearing in momentarily, so I'm really excited about our Delaware County Sheriff, Craig Dumond, who will be your incoming president. I took a look at his resume. Boy, 32 years in law enforcement, everything from working as a correction officer for New York State Division of Youth and being a police officer and a county legislator and a town supervisor and an undersheriff and a sheriff. Is there anything you haven't done yet? Don't go for governor. I'd rather. We're good. So thank you for saying yes and being prepared to assume the important responsibility of this organization. Peter Kehoe, we saw each other at a conference a short time ago, and he invited me to come, and I was really happy to say yes. And we'll be hearing from John Hubbard, a judge who will be letting us make it official shortly, and Chairman Alan Riley, our Commission on Corrections. So I've got a few thoughts for you. Those of you who follow what I do a little bit, it's in the news that the first words out of my mouth in my State of the State over a week ago and in my budget were all about public safety. And literally that means fighting crime and keeping the public safe. There is no greater responsibility for a public official, but particularly a governor, to use all her resources and all her assets and deploy people to help all of you who are literally the boots on the ground to keep our communities safe. This is something I've been passionate about my whole life. My husband was the United States Attorney for 17 counties. He worked closely with the Western District, continuing to bring the resources of the federal government to the local governments. And I know as governor, we have such an important relationship to support you in how you manage the jails and how you do your everyday work and managing just society and dealing with all the ills that are coming up. I mean, there was probably 10, 15 years ago, you would not have thought that your members of your teams would be out there literally saving lives with Narcan, people overdosing in rural communities, not just the big cities. This has been affecting our rural areas and our suburban areas with a vengeance for such a long time. So we're going to continue driving resources to help you fight the scourge of the opioid overdose crisis. We're also the mental health crisis. I put that front and center in my budget because no one else has been talking about it. I know you just had a presentation on this. I hope you were listening well about the importance of breaking down the stigma when it comes to saying, you know what, I'm a human being. I need some help. And you go back to your job after you get that help and nothing changes, that you are still the same person, but you were man enough or woman enough to say, I need a helping hand. I want to make sure that particularly in law enforcement, which has a 60% increase in the number of people who are now experiencing either suicidal thoughts or heading into a dark place or turning to self-medication. It's because they're on the front lines and they see humanity sometimes at its worst. And how can that not take a toll on someone? How can it not? So I think it's about time we recognize this. I put $13 million in my budget to help devise plans to get training out there to all the sheriffs, of course, but to your members of your team who are out there who are suffering sometimes in silence. And yes, the long hours take a toll on relationships and marriages, and there's a lot of stressors. And I want you to know I know this. I've seen this. And I want to help be a partner to solve it, because we are nothing without all of you out there keeping the order of society, protecting people, helping our shop owners who are so sick and tired of retail theft. They work so hard. I worked my mom's little retail shop for a long time. And you put your life savings and your heart and soul into your business, and then have people who are so brazen now. I don't know what's happened. People just walking in and stealing things off the shelves. The car thefts that are so far up. I mean, we work very, very hard together with our crime analysis center, helping solve crimes, working to drive down the murders and the gun possession cases. Those are way down. That is very good news. But what has popped up are the quality of life issues. They're just driving everybody nuts. Not feeling safe walking down your streets anymore. The specter of homelessness, but not just homelessness, people with serious mental health problems who should not be on the streets. They should not be in your jails. They should be somewhere getting real help. That's how we start talking about, start tackling the real problems of society that you and your teams encounter every single day. Again, my commitment is where the money is. We put $347 million into our budget once again to drive money to local law enforcement. I want to make sure you see that. And as a local county official who used to always rail against those unfunded mandates from Albany, they drove me nuts. I have said when we want our sheriffs and our local law enforcement to do something, whether it's providing services in jail, medication-assisted treatment, I know it's expensive. I said we are going to pay for that. We can't expect them to do this. They're trying to stretch their own budgets. If we want them to help do something additional to what they normally would do, we're going to pay for it. And that is my commitment to all of you, that you don't have to bear the brunt of that. So I hope you take advantage of the relationship in the state of New York, which has never been stronger with local law enforcement. It truly has not, because I see it, I understand it. And I know that we can do so much more to lift people up and solve problems by working together. And the more support I can give an organization like this, and to all of you out there in your counties, all across this great state, I know we'll be a better place, a safer place, and a place that people want to live and raise their families. That's what we're in this together for, and I'm so happy to have the partnership of all of you. And with that, I'd like to bring out our judge to make sure we make it official that you have a brand new president who's willing to accept the responsibility of being the president of this organization for the next year. Sheriff Dumont.
So let's proceed to the swearing in. I'll ask the governor to assist us. Right in the middle, put the governor right here.
Okay.
Would you please raise your right hand and repeat after me? I, Sheriff Craig Dumont,
I, Sheriff Craig Dumont,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge to the best of my abilities
and that I will faithfully discharge to the best of my abilities
the duties of President of the New York State Sheriff's Association.
the duties of President of the New York State Sheriff's Association.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.